Roll. Hello!
Hi! Welcome to the Lost Birds Knitting Podcast. I'm Allison, also known as Lost Birds on Ravelry. On Instagram, I'm Lost Birds Fiber.
Hello, I'm Danielle. I'm also known as Bright D on Ravelry and Lady D Bright on Instagram. And this is episode number 10.
Yeah,
Believe
double
it or
digits! Woohoo! Double digits, yeah, it's the 14th, 14th, right?
Yeah, totally.
14th, Sunday the 14th of September, 2014. And you can find show notes and you can stream the videos on lostbirdsfiber.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast via YouTube. So, and there's a link from the website. You go to the blog. So
the last time I checked, we had 42 subscribers on YouTube.
Yay!
So thank you for everybody for joining us.
Yeah, we have like 43, I think, in our Ravelry group too. So
hey, all right.
Yeah, it's getting
bigger.
Fun in there. So anyway, what are you working on?
Well, my list is kind of short today. I am currently working on just some socks for myself in sock bunny yarn, and I don't know. I hope you can see that. There we go. And the colorway is called "It's Fall, Y'all." And the dyer is the same person who does the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit podcast. So there is that. And in terms of like flight plan stuff, I did finish an object, and you can't really see it unfortunately because it's already at its respective home. Let's see if I can bring it up.
Aww.
And it's kind of, let's see if I'll. Nope, I think there's too much of a glare on it, but I will insert a picture. Here.
It's this baby vertebrae sweater she was talking about last time, or showed last time, and it's red, and then it had the border, what am I thinking?
Yeah, the applied ribbing.
Yes.
Is in
white.
bright white.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I got a little bit of heckling when I gave that to the mom, and I'll explain that later.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the extent of my knitting this week. I hope you have.
Well, you finished the whole sweater, and there was a little hat to go with it too.
Well, the hat I had done, so that's good.
Still. Yeah, I do not have a whole lot either. This is the hat that I showed you last week. And I'm working on one of the ear flaps now. And this is out of some of my own hand spun yarn here. Oops, I'm about to drop it. So this is a baby hat. It's supposed to be, I'm hoping it'll be like newborn-ish size. And you always forget how small they are, you know? And I suppose babies are different sizes. They aren't all born as small as others. But this is the Bunny Hugs pattern by Shana. I wrote it down. Shastain.
Super cute photos on that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll look like, let's see, something like that, hopefully.
Look at those cheeks.
It's really cute. It's a free pattern too. It's on Ravelry. Well, it's not on Ravelry, but the link to it's on Ravelry. And then I also cast on. This is the week of baby knitting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I cast on a baby sweater. I was also going to do the baby vertebrae, but I don't know. I was thinking like maybe it's supposed to be for a girl, and the baby vertebrae is it's unisex. You know, it's more of a unisex sweater, and while you can do it in pink or something, I kind of have this vision of the mom and her taste, and I think she'd want something a little bit more girly for her girl baby. So it's got like pink and white stripes. It's just acrylic, so it's washable, and it's the Hobby Lobby brand. I love this yarn. It's not too bad for acrylic. And it is the Pichu? Let me see. Baby Pichu sweater. I think it's a Barocco pattern. So it'll look like that kind of, except mine's pink and white stripes, and I like that it has just the one button, because that makes it a lot easier to put on. You don't want to have to you don't want to have 5 buttons to button on a squirmy baby.
Yeah.
So.
And they might chew on it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Minimize the risk by only have one button.
Yeah. And that brings us right into.
Of course.
Of course. Because I had some this week, and so this sweater, I didn't do like a gauge swatch or anything for it. It's just a baby sweater, and I thought it'll be fine, you know, I'll just use the suggested needles and whatever. Well, it probably would be fine, but it's gonna be a little bit bigger. I'm a loose knitter, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger than I want it to be, and I'm not that far into it. It's a baby sweater. It takes no time to knit this, so I think I'm gonna just start out over and count this as my gauge swatch and use some smaller needles. So there's that. And yeah, and then on this one I also had to rip back at one point because I'm actually knitting this smaller than the smallest. Since I'm using hand spun and you know,
you're a loose knitter.
Yeah, and I'm a loose knitter. I cast on fewer stitches than the pattern called for. So, but when I went to do the, you know, you have to bind off for the front, and then you work the ear flaps. This is a top-down hat. So when I bound off the stitches, long story short, there was some bad math involved, and I decided that it would just be easier in the long run. It's a baby hat, you know. It's small. Ripping back is not a big deal. So I just went back and fixed my math problem there. So that was my off course. What did you have any?
I totally did. The baby sweater, the baby vertebrae.
Mm-hmm.
I did a fantastic job of picking up the stitches on the wrong side. So it was a stockinette sweater, so I had the purl side facing me when I was picking up the stitches.
Mm-hmm.
However, that creates like the sweater was done in red and white, so it creates this weird red and white ridge around the outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the inside was just fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, crap. And I was already like an hour late to the baby shower because I was trying to finish the sweater.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I have to leave it. And I just told the mom that she, who received the sweater, and that it's reversible. It's fine. So I turned it inside out.
Oh my gosh, that's a good idea, huh? I'm gonna use that one.
So yeah, that's
so they spit up on one side and you just turn it inside out.
turn it inside out. And it's red and white, and you can use it for, Christmas photos because, she's going to be born, the mom's due date is October 22nd, so it should be, a month or so old in time for Christmas photos, and because you're going to have to send out Christmas cards.
Yeah.
So let's be honest on that one. And so, yeah, that was my off course that ended up being shameful lying.
You know what? Is she a knitter? She's not a knitter.
No,
right?
totally
She'll
not.
never know.
Yeah.
She'll never know.
Exactly.
It's a design feature, right?
Exactly.
All right, so that brings us to our bird's eye view, our overview of the week. What'd you do?
Well, it was a short week since the last time we recorded was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I had 3 10-hour work days after that.
Oh my gosh.
So when I was able to get home finally, I crashed out like most of the time.
I can imagine.
So I didn't get much done, unfortunately. We're doing some restructuring in terms of our employees. So come Monday, I will have 3 employees from other branches who are now a part of my team.
Interesting. Okay.
And I lost 2.
Hmm.
So it will be interesting to see how the team adjusts to the new dynamic, but what kind of personalities shine through, what kind of personalities cause trouble, or whatever else.
Yeah.
So it should be fun. So tomorrow should be interesting. We've planned to do like a meet and greet in the morning, so everybody can get to know each other and just kind of talk story for a little bit and just see what's up. But yeah, so there's that. And then on Saturday I told y'all that I had the baby shower, that I scrambled to finish the knitting on that sweater, and shameless lying on that one. And then today which is Sunday, I had dog pound today, which is my first roller derby experience. I fell down so many times that I lost count. After the 3rd time, I stopped keeping track.
Wow.
If I had to guess, it would be anywhere between 6 and 8. It was a lot of work, and it was so hot in the gym that I had a fantastic experience of almost blacking out.
Oh no.
I don't know if you've all have had the experience where you've almost blacked out and your vision starts getting like these black sparkles around your vision. Yeah, I was like, and I'm going to sit down for a second.
I've been lucky never to experience that. My goodness.
So, yeah, with me, I don't get headaches like as a heat thing happens. It normally my headaches happen when I start cooling down. Which is, I don't know if it's strange or what, but there's that. And I was pretty excited. I learned how to skate backwards today.
Wow.
I didn't know how to skate backwards, and I had some one-on-one attention in terms of my stopping, because stopping is definitely not my forte. And
how do you stop?
well, you can do a couple of different ones. So you have your like breaks and toe stops on your toes, and you can use those if you want, but a lot of times there's not enough contact with the floor to actually get you to stop without causing you to crash.
Uh-huh.
So you can do they call them plow stops. So you're skating along like this, and then you put your toes together, and that's how you stop like that.
Okay.
So your wheels are essentially going sideways.
It's the same with ice skating. I took ice skating lessons when I was like really young at the mall ice skating rink.
There you go. Yeah.
So.
And then the second way that they really taught us how to stop was using a T-stop, which so you have one foot going this way and the other foot, dragging behind and kind of doing providing friction enough to slow you down.
Yeah.
I am not very good at either one of those, so I use the walls a lot. There was actually a time where I fell down and close to the wall, and because there wasn't enough space for my body to fall down. Ooh, sorry, microphone. There wasn't enough space for my body to fall down in that particular area. I did a fantastic job of tweaking my ankle like all the way back. So yeah, that was fun.
Oh, no.
So I'll have to ice that. I've already iced it a couple of times while I was cooling down, so I'll have to ice it again a couple of times. We'll see how it actually goes. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but so much work. And let's see. Then as I was, my husband was so kind as to escort me to there, because I'm like, I'm not exactly sure how my body's going to react. Can you please hang out with me and just, watch it and whatever else? And he's like, sure, no problem, And I'm so glad he did, because he was able to give me like 2 extra bottles of water, because I was going through water like it's nobody's business. I want to say, and then when we were leaving, I was grabbing up my gear and putting it in the back of the husband-mobile, and this guy, or this type of guy, was in my purse.
And you can't see the scale of that. That's called a huntsman spider. In Hawaii, they're called cane spiders. They're big. They're like big. Size of your hand big.
This one wasn't full grown yet, so it was only about this big.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I'm like, there is a spider in my purse. So the purse ended up like in the parking lot upside down. And so we could get the spider out of the purse, and like there was shaking involved. And then the spider took off running across the parking lot. And my husband is like running after it and then squashed.
Oh, I should have just let it go at that point. Man, my policy is live and let live. Like, if I don't have to. Okay, we've had those in our house, and I'm terrified of spiders.
Well, this one was like a very light gray, almost a white with black spots.
Interesting.
So when I was pulling up images, I totally thought that this was a different type of spider, but it has like the same body format. So I'm like, it has to be that, and it has to be like some sort of genetic anomaly, because we saw them in Hawaii too, and they would very easily be the size of my hand or larger.
Yeah. And
they're brown and fuzzy. Like you could see the hair on his legs.
Yeah.
And I could easily kill an entire can of Raid on these things, and they'll just kind of look at you like, thanks for the bath. And so boots are the only thing that works.
Yeah, I know they're helpful. Like, I know that I think they eat cockroaches, so that's good. I know they're good, but I'm so scared of them.
I know, they just creep my world.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, okay, well, that's a very exciting week for you then.
In a very short amount of time.
Yeah. My week wasn't as exciting. I've been cooking a lot. And I do cook, but I don't like really complicated recipes with lots of ingredients. I like simple recipes. I like simple cooking. And I like cooking that doesn't take me
Forever?
Yeah, you know, like half hour, maybe 45 minutes if it's extra special. Anyway, so I've been cooking more this week because my husband and I are trying to eat a healthier diet in general, and that involves cooking. It just does, you know. It involves vegetables and fruits and real foods that don't come in a box, which you have to cook. So
Box or bag?
yeah, although I mean, I consider rice and dried beans and stuff real food still.
Oh, okay. Admittedly, I do think of frozen vegetables as still real food.
Yeah, actually, I will agree with you there. And I sometimes prefer frozen vegetables because I always think about, like, the lining of the cans. Like, they still use BPA in that, and I just... Not that I don't buy canned food, but it's always in the back of my mind, you know?
I try to eat, like, you know, locally and that sort of stuff. But
I do, too.
Really, truthfully, like, let's just be honest on this one. When I go off of base to find some, you know, fruits and vegetables, there are often times I'm like, what the hey is that?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's usually the leafy greens that I don't know what they are. And, you know, I would buy and experiment more, except for things tend to be a little bit more expensive here too, even at farmers markets. So you don't want to just like buy willy-nilly and then you can't eat it.
Right. And then on the same note, it seems like they do last longer.
Oh yeah, definitely produce if you buy it out in town is fresher, because the produce that is at the commissary on base, so there are things that are local. They have like local potatoes, for example, local apples, sometimes local lettuce,
carrots, definitely.
Carrots. I mean, they do have local produce as well, but a lot of it is not local. A lot of it is shipped from the United States or Mexico or...
I'm going to say oftentimes, like, from just talking to the commissary workers and that sort of stuff, they'll, such as, like, melons and that sort of stuff, they get sent to the United States, and then from the United States it gets sent out here. So it's already been on, you know, several modes of transportation between, you know, the place where it's grown and here, well over a week's time.
Yeah. And there are things that I do buy on base because they're hard to find out in town, like cilantro. I don't ever see it out in town. I know it does exist, but it's not very common. I know, what else do I buy on base?
You know, like, I have rosemary, parsley, basil, and some peppers right now in my little porch garden.
Nice.
So that's what I use most of the time in terms of, like...
I love cilantro, and I have tried to grow it in the past. I'm just not, I am a brown thumb.
Not entirely a black thumb or a green thumb.
Yes, so, like, I can sort of keep stuff limping along for a while, but I'm definitely not a green thumb. We'll just put it that way.
By the way, I think that might be the show title. Brown thumbs.
Yep. But cilantro is supposedly supposed to be fairly easy. I've tried to grow it in the past and I killed it, or I didn't know what I was doing in any case. And I have successfully kept some succulents alive for quite a while now. Which is not really saying much because they don't even require that much water.
What I can't get to grow to save my life is lavender. Like, I tried to do inside, outside,
Yeah.
whatever else, but I don't think it likes being in a container.
I had lavender up in Misawa, actually. It doesn't like, it's kind of like succulents in the fact that it likes really well draining soil. It doesn't like to have its feet wet, you know.
Oh, okay.
It gets root rot easily. So, you know, if you put it in like a sandy soil or rocky soil, it would be better
Okay.
to help it drain more. And then
I have like a mulch-based soil that I normally use.
yeah, so it probably just didn't drain well enough, maybe.
Okay.
And also, I mean, you can grow lavender in containers. Mine was in a container, but yes, at some point they do get larger and you need to,
Put them in the ground.
yeah. I did manage to keep my lavender alive.
I'm gonna
But-
say, since we're on a second story and, you know, not allowed to plant anything 3 feet beyond a building, I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah.
We'll see how it actually goes.
I don't know. I think it'd work. Well, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What
Base
else?
housing restrictions.
Yeah. So yes, I've been cooking. I posted an image on Instagram of these falafels and homemade tzatziki sauce that I made. And it was really good. Even my son, who's a fairly picky eater, he ate a bunch of them. So, and it was very healthy. There's no meat, no dairy, no, well, a little bit of oil, just like spraying the pan oil. They're not deep fried. They weren't deep fried like regular,
Falafels.
yeah. Yeah, they were very healthy. So I felt good and they tasted good and my husband liked them and my son liked them. So that was a success.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Oh, today we went to a place called American Village. It's kind of on the opposite side of the island from where I live. It's not a wide island or anything. It takes maybe like 30 minutes for me to get there, but it's just sort of like, it's sort of a touristy area. There's a mall and there's beaches over there. There's some hotels, and American Village itself is just lots of shops and restaurants. And they call it, it's not like,
Where all
it's
the
American Village in the way that like Mexican food in America is Mexican, if you know what I mean. So it has, you know, there are like, you can get a hot dog and a hamburger, but they're Japanese hot dogs and Japanese hamburgers, which are different. They just are different.
I would say, oftentimes there's something on the burger that you don't really recognize. Like,
Yeah, they like eggs on their burgers a lot, or there's a like a Japanese fast food chain called Moss Burger, and a Moss Burger it has this like special tomato-y sauce on it. Anyway, so we went to American Village and walked around, and it was so hot.
yeah.
I just sweated the whole time, but we found a Thai restaurant and we ate there.
Is that the one underneath the Ferris wheel?
Yes. Yeah, Jai Thai.
Mm-hmm. American Village has this huge Ferris wheel.
Yeah, it's a very carnival-like atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
And at Christmas or different holidays, they like,
Go all out.
yeah, they really decorate. They have like Santa Claus hanging from windows, and there's lights, and they have a big Christmas tree and all kinds of stuff.
Though,
so-
admittedly, some of the stores don't take the Christmas lights down.
Yeah, they were up for quite a while, although they weren't up when I was just there. So
Oh, okay, very cool.
yeah, so
Well, and they decorate for. I've been there when they're decorating for Mardi Gras, and so like any type of like really fun American holiday, they will adopt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, my stomach's growling.
So anyway, that's what I did this week. I don't know.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, we actually had a few questions.
Oh, yeah?
And they weren't in the questions thread. They were in the, like, introductions thread, but I thought we'd give it a go. These are questions from Dorothy, who is All That Cake Knit on Ravelry. And she had a whole list of questions. And some of them we've sort of talked about before, but, you know,
okay.
Might as well formally address them. So she wants to know, she has 5 different questions, so we'll talk about them briefly. They're not, like, super in-depth questions. She just wants to know, do we both speak Japanese?
I can speak greetings and say right and left to try to help out the maintenance crew that comes to my building.
Yeah.
You know, kodomasai, which is excuse me, and I just rattled that one off, but I probably didn't say it correctly. I am definitely not confident in Japanese at all. How about you?
I can read a lot of Japanese. I can read, so there are basically 3 character sets that they use when they write Japanese. And they are all together, all the characters are collectively known as kana. So the 3 kana are kanji, hiragana, and katakana. Kanji are characters that are adopted from Chinese. So they're the very complicated Chinese. They are Chinese characters, basically. Although some of them, Japan has adopted their own kind of like meanings, and they all have different pronunciations than you would pronounce them in Chinese. So my husband actually reads and speaks Chinese, and sometimes he can like decipher, because even though so Chinese characters, they have a sound, they also have a meaning, like the character itself means something. So he can sort of get the meaning of the characters, even if he doesn't know what it says. And I can read the other 2 sets of characters, which are the hiragana and the katakana. The hiragana are the like original Japanese characters, basically. And the katakana are simplified versions of the hiragana, kind of. And they use those for foreign words. So katakana is very helpful because it's always used for like English words. They actually use a lot of English words in Japanese, but they are they have a different pronunciation, basically. And so anyway, I suppose it's not that complicated, but it's a little bit confusing. But so the katakana, you can read a lot of English words with that. So like blueberry is usually, or chocolate, or what other, I don't know, English words, or words that are not necessarily native to Japan, I'd say. I don't know. Anyway, it really helps at the grocery store, for example, because I can read the katakana or the hiragana, and I can sort of know what I'm buying a little bit more than
me.
Yeah, it helps. It really helps. So I can get by at the grocery store. I can, I've lived in Japan a little bit longer than Danielle, and when I lived so here in Okinawa, they speak a lot of English. There are tons of Americans here. There are a lot of military bases, and it's not a huge island. So as a result, a lot of the island really has catered to the Americans here, and a lot of people speak English. Or if you go to a restaurant, they have a menu in English. There's a lot of English. You don't necessarily have to learn Japanese while you're in Okinawa.
Though a lot of the Japanese locals really appreciate it when you try.
Yeah, of course. Anywhere you go, the locals are always going to appreciate you making an effort to learn the language or use the language. Before I lived in Okinawa, we lived in Misawa, which is a very rural, small town in northern Japan, and not a lot of people speak English up there. So I had a little bit more motivation to learn. So I do not by any means speak Japanese fluently or anything like that, but I do know a lot of words, and I can order things at restaurants, or if I go to a store and I have a question, I can sort of like feel it out with with the salesperson or whatever. So I can get by, and I can use my Japanese a little bit, but I by no means can like hold a conversation with somebody.
You get really good at pantomiming.
Yes, yeah. Or learning to describe things using the words that you do know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, that's as much Japanese as we both speak. How long have you been living in Japan?
We arrived on the island November 15th, 2012. This is our second island's station. Our first one was in the island of Oahu in Hawaii. And we were there I was there for 3 years, my husband was there for 4. And then we spent 10 months in Niceville, Pensacola area in Florida, and then out here.
Yeah, I also lived in Hawaii prior to coming to Japan, and actually in Hawaii there's a lot of Japanese culture there, and a lot of Japanese influence, and a lot of Japanese tourists, especially on the island of Oahu. So you pick up a little bit just from there. I mean, a very little bit, but still. Mm-hmm. I came over here and I realized things that I knew from Hawaii were Japanese, and I didn't necessarily even know they were Japanese at that time. But okay, so I've lived in Okinawa about 2 years now, and prior to living in Okinawa, as I said, we lived in the northern part of Japan, and we lived there for 3 years, so total right now it's about 5 years, and then we'll be here at least 1 more year. So
I would say we're putting in a package to stay out here for another 2 years beyond our rotation date.
Yeah. Okay. And she wants to know, is it summer or winter? It is summer here.
Borderline fall.
Yes, we are in the northern hemisphere, so it is summer, not winter. I'm not sure. Do you know what our latitude is like compared to someplace maybe in the United States? I don't even know what our latitude is. Do you?
Let's see it. If I can pull it up.
It is a tropical climate. Where I lived before in northern Japan, it would snow like at literally 5 feet overnight. I mean, Japan is a very long country, so it kind of spans all the way from, snowy, mountainous down to the islands here at the very bottom.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure it out. There's no longer longitude or latitude lines on the maps here.
Huh.
but it's looking like the very southern tip of Florida.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is about comparable.
That would make sense. She wants to know, is there a big knitting community? We've talked about our knitting group before. There is a group of they're American ladies, and we get together on the base once a week and we knit. And it's an ever-changing group. It's sort of the nature of
The beast.
the military. Yeah, people are coming and going all the time. Nobody's here forever. Well, maybe a few people, but most people are coming and going every few years. So the dynamic of the group changes and the size of the group changes. Right now we have quite a few members, and they're fairly new, you know, so we have like a new strong group coming. A lot of the older members have left just recently, so that's what happens, you know, people come in waves and they leave in waves. As for outside of our group, there is not much of a knitting community that I'm aware of, in Okinawa at least. There may be one out there, I'm not sure. The language barrier is something that keeps me from knowing, really. And
no, and it's just also the type of knitting, or in many cases crochet, because I see more crochet handwork than I do knitting. Like I found a knitting or a yarn shop, a craft shop, up by Camp Hansen on Saturday, and I stopped into there. They have a lot of lace weight or crochet cotton weight yarn, and that's what I see most often.
Yeah, Japanese crafts are often like very detail oriented, you know, like these tiny little you know, I see a lot of like felting, like little cute felted animals, things like that. Things here are little cute and like attention to detail. So it's sort of a different mentality, you know, just even when it comes to crafts. But anyway, so, and on top of that, we live in Okinawa, which is a tropical climate, which is usually a place where knitting is not super popular.
Yeah, you don't really have to worry too much about, you know, body heat and warmth.
One of our other viewers, she's Tokyo City Girl on Ravelry. She lives in Tokyo, and she's lived there for, I think she said like 18 years or something. And Tokyo is a big city, and you know, they have everything, you know. I'm sure if you're interested in it, you can find it somewhere in Tokyo. It's huge. And she was talking about there's a knitting group there with like expats, I think. But maybe she can chime in, answer a little bit more. She's been here longer than I have, and she lives in a bigger metropolitan area. So anyway, next question. Oh, I should say last question. She wants to know if we travel a lot.
Unfortunately, with my work and such, I am not able to travel a whole lot, because if I spend 30 days off of island, then I'm subject to more taxes. So that's my I guess issue with that.
Yeah, so living over here is, you know, we have jobs and we have kids, and so we probably get to travel as much as you do where you live, you know, for the most part. And for me, we used to travel more. My son was born in Japan. He was born up north, and before he was born, we traveled in Japan a little bit more. But it's hard with a baby or even a toddler to travel. So we haven't really been anywhere since then. Other than we did take a trip back to the States, and that was a long trip, let me tell you. So we are, since we have a year left, I would really like to take a trip somewhere out of Japan. But we haven't really decided yet. My husband is going to be running in an 100K race in January. So we may, and that's on a different island. It's on Miyako Island. And so I think we're all going to go there as a trip. And there are a lot of other like little close by islands here that you can go to. Although I don't know if it really counts because they're so close. But I think Miyako does actually require a plane flight, so.
Oh, P.S. 100K is roughly around 61 miles.
It's like running 2 marathons back to back, yeah. He's crazy. So that is all the questions. She wanted us to do an outdoor episode or something outside of our house. We record at night. It's after dark right now. After my son's bedtime and after any work related stuff that she has going on. So
I get to take care of 4 ATMs on the island.
Yeah, sometimes she gets called in, and anyway, nighttime is usually the most convenient time for us to record, which means there wouldn't be much to see outside. But I do want to make an effort of taking more like little clips to show you guys. For example, and we did that in episode 3 when we went to lunch together, and we kind of took you guys along and just had little clips of this place that we went to. Mm-hmm. And we just stuck them in at the end of the episode so you guys could see. And I think that's a good idea. I think we should, make an effort to do that. And it is interesting. I did take some footage while we were at American Village, so maybe we can get that in at the end of this episode.
And I'm hoping to abduct my husband and take him to Okinawa World. So maybe there'll be some photos then. There won't be, or video then. There won't be any video of the ASA dancers. I know that one for sure, because they don't allow photography during their performance.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't. Other than that, I can't promise that we'll ever do an episode like outside of our normal recording area, because first of all, logistically, I don't know.
But we'll put our best effort.
Yeah. We can't record a whole episode on our phone, or I can't anyway.
I don't have that kind of room.
And what we record on right now is a webcam, so it has to be attached to
a computer.
Anyway, we will try to add little clips, though, I think, of, during the week or when we're out and about or something that might be interesting. So anyway, that concludes our question and answer section. Let's go to bird calls. Do you have any this week?
I just have some bird calls for my dog pound instructors today. They were just super amazing, super patient with me. I might have had roller skate skill in the past. That is not something I currently possess now, unfortunately. Like I said, I fell down a lot. and like I said, they were just super amazing with me. So mad shout outs to the dog pound managers. I just want to let them know how thankful I am. How about you?
Well, okay, so last week I talked about how my husband and I watched Food Inc. It's a documentary about agribusiness from 2008 or 2009. But it's a very good documentary. You should watch it. And we sort of like watch those, I think, as motivation.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Since we are trying to eat healthier. And so we watched another food related documentary. It's a brand new one called Fed Up with Katie Couric. She's actually the narrator, and I don't know if she helped like produce it or something, but anyway, she's involved. She narrates it, and it's less about agribusiness than like the government's role and or I should say government policy as related to the food industry. So she talks a lot about like how fast food sponsorships in schools and how often in the past when they've tried to reform like food policies or the food pyramid or update like government recommendations as far as daily intakes for whatever sugars, proteins, what have you. In the past, when these reforms have been proposed, how the food industry has stepped in and basically fought them, so it's a lot about it's very interesting to see those connections, and it makes you think about things that maybe they've become so normal in our day-to-day lives, all the food advertisements. You don't think about
I'm gonna say, I really truly bet that you could very easily name 50 food logos and do like 6 different food jingles without a problem.
Well, but beyond that, they really talk about it starts at the school level. It starts when you're a kid, and how they really make a comparison of today's food industry with like yesterday's tobacco industry, as far as how tobacco fought, having warning labels and stuff put on their packages, and they fought. They disagreed with any research that said cigarettes were harmful. And you're sort of seeing the same. Oh, and they used to advertise directly to children. And we see that now, and it's obviously ridiculous, but they really make some
points hit home.
Yeah, they really make some good comparisons of the tobacco industry with like the fast food or major food companies that are not the healthiest, they're advertising to kids, even if they want to deny it.
Sure, of course. Hello, Happy Meal.
Yeah, right. But, so anyway, and they also talk about, like, in other countries, they're already starting to ban, like, food commercials, fast food commercials at certain prime time hours of television watching, or they're banning them during like kids shows, things like that. So anyway, it's a good documentary. It's called Fed Up, and it's, like I said, it's brand new, and it's narrated by Katie Couric, and she does a good job. So, that's my shout out.
Very cool.
Did you get anything in the mail this week?
I did not.
What? I
Right?
thought you were on a roll there.
No, I would say I'm expecting a few things, like, and I haven't gotten any shipping notifications or anything, so I might have to reach out to the respective companies and be like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'm expecting some things too, but I didn't get them again this week, so that's sort of the nature of
The beast,
the postal service here. We're getting things shipped all the way to Japan.
I'm gonna say sometimes it'll take like a couple of days, and then other times it'll take a month.
Yeah. So, no mail.
No mail.
Maybe next week.
Hopefully. I'm gonna say I'm still missing my helmet and my elbow pads. So I had to, I went out and got myself a secondary helmet. That one was on island, thank God. But I had to borrow elbow pads, and the elbow pads are super, super stretched out. Oh, and they stink.
Oh, I bet.
They smell super bad.
You never want to use somebody else's, like, sweaty sports equipment if you can avoid it.
So yeah, I'm like, please come.
All right, well, I think that's all we have then.
Yep, that's it.
All right, well, hopefully we will see you guys next week then. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye. Have a great week.